Hi, Misha here, and it's time to talk about the JDI Sand Imports big batch of Swiss guns that came in May of 2021, and a bit about kind of the situation involving JDI and potentially imports going forward this year. But first, I felt like putting a couple more mags through my SG-551 LB that I've had for a long time, and that I've put a NATO STANAG mag compatible lower on. So let's run a few rounds, and then we will come back and talk about the new guns and the future of Swiss-made SiG Sauer guns in the USA. SiG 551. And she held open. I like the classic SG-550 PE90 for being, a semi-auto STGW90. So historically, it's the iconic gun. In the SG-552, SG-553s, the shorties are neat in a modern commando sense, and there's lots of variants. But just in terms of pure shootability, sure, that's a word, why not? I've often said over the years that I still like the SG-551. And the SB that's the one that has the 14.3 inch barrel, but the LB has the 17.8. So no SBR considerations or worries. Put a stock on it. This is like I said, an older import. And it's one when it just comes time to shoot that, I think it's the best one to take out. It just seems to be that way. But that's an old one. In fact, this is one I've had from JDI for a long time. We were out shooting. But here we have the first of several of the new imports. And this is, of course, a classic 550 in the classic gray-green. So it comes in the same case. It has traditional diopter sights. Has the full-length handguard with bipod. Front diopter with flip-up sight. Has the bayonet lug for Swiss bayonet. Has the 21-inch or nearly so barrel, and this is internally threaded. Some are, some aren't. Grenade bulge. The usual cleaning kit. Well, happily, it does have the manual again. For a while, they haven't been shipping with manuals. Now, somewhat interesting for the 550 PE90 style, this one came with a 30-round mag. So yeah, your classic 550 here. With that, let's talk about what else is coming in and where we're going to go for here with the Swiss SiG Sauer imports. Flipping it over and taking it out of the case, you can see the markings. This is one of the 550s. And this is the biggest batch of Swiss SiG, sand SiGs, I think, to ever come in. During the 80s, in total, they only brought over 450, maybe 500 guns over a few-year period. And since JDI has started bringing these in around 2015-16. Typically, batches have been 50 to 100 guns, once or twice 150. And it actually takes the factory in Neuhausen, Switzerland, quite a while to make even that small number. By the way, they were SiG, then the firearms division was divested from the parent company, and they became SAN, Swiss Arms Neuhausen. But last year they reverted to their name of SiG, now being SiG Sauer A.G. This follows, of course, the shutting down of SiG Sauer GmbH in Germany a year before. And the owner of JDI, SAN Imports, Dave, pushed Switzerland to get as many guns as they possibly could over. He has concerns about the future and potential changing import restrictions and requirements for pistols. And so Switzerland sent over essentially every gun that they could, even some that were minor ways incomplete and unfinished. But those seem to be mostly 5.50s. So, yeah, we have a very big batch. It's at least relatively speaking. However, this is it. Even if the laws do not change, it'll be months or even a year before Switzerland has enough parts and everything ready to make guns. And that's assuming, again, no changes, which, yeah, many people feel are coming. I'm just reporting what's said. So anyway, the future is the future. We can speculate, but we won't know till it happens. And again, no sense worrying about something beforehand. But we can definitely celebrate the fact that we did get a very nice and diverse selection of Swiss guns. So what all came in? Well, first off, we have some SG-550s. Some black, some gray-green, and then some unfinished that are coming in natural metal. Of these, some will be done in the popular white Alpine. And a 5.50, that's a full-length gas, full-length barrel. It's actually 20.7 if it's not threaded internally, or 20.8 threaded, bayonet lug, diopter sights. Moving from there, we have some SG-551s. These are in 7.62 NATO 308. And there are two variants, 16-inch barrel and 20-inch barrel. Kind of interesting. The only kind of downside, they're very well made guns, but they do take proprietary mags that are difficult to get a hold of. Hopefully that'll change and mags will come in for the 7.51s. There are also some SG-553s, 553 SB, which is the 8.9-inch barrel, and 553 LB. And there are two types of LB. They have the kind of same profile out here. There's one type with a fixed flash hider, which is a 13.6-inch barrel. And there's another LB with the removable flash hider, where the barrel is 11.9 with the flash hider taken off, or about 13.5 with the flash hider on. So we have those coming in. Those are, of course, in 5.56 to 23. And these will pretty much be the -2 with the 1-7 twist. Okay. We also have some 553 LBs in 300 Blackout, which is kind of neat. That's something done especially for the U.S. market. Notice on the back here it'll say SiG. We have the Swiss crest here too. Kind of neat. Good old traditional gray and green. Swiss military. Anyway, and there will be some 553Rs, which are, again, 553 LBs, but these are the removable barrel device type, so 11.9 inch, and they are in 7.62 by 39. And unlike the 308 guns, luckily these do feed from standard AK mags, so magazines are definitely not a problem for those. It's probably the biggest draw for them. Now that's kind of the standard import run. There was also, back in October of 2020, a pre-order batch of 551s, like mine back here. But they were unique, or are unique, in that they have both a Picatinny rail and diopter sights. Before, it's been an either-or thing, but they will have a shorter pick rail welded on top of the receiver. Kind of nice. And there will be an SB and an LB version. Again, SB being 14.3, LB being 17.8. But these are not part of this order, although they are coming in with it. Those were, again, pre-ordered back in October, and they're coming in a pretty small batch. And finally, there will also be a batch of pick rail and diopter 553s. Again, in 5.56 NATO. So quite interesting, and these will be in gray-green, like this gun. But we'll have a Picatinny rail section from pretty much the edge of the diopter to the edge of the handguard. So long enough for most stuff. Something that's kind of been done for the American market, but a unique configuration, to say the least. And so, yeah, you can tell there's a good bit of diversity. And there are some minor variations in colors and, gray with green furniture or black on black. Some will have steel lowers, some will have the alloy. Minor things like that. But again, it's a large batch of guns. Around 400 complete guns and another 200 either unfinished or slightly incomplete guns. And originally, the guns were supposed to come in one big batch at the very beginning of May. Well, as it turns out, they got broken up into 3 batches. One came in just recently. That was mostly the 553s and the original 550s. Batch number 2 will be in shortly. It'll have the 551s and some more 553s. And then finally, batch 3 will have the remaining 553s and the 553Rs. Oh, by the way, the 751s were, as far as I understand, part of batch 1. And I do believe the last batch is shipping or already shipped. But hopefully this will all be done by the end of May. After the guns come over, the next things will be accessories. There will be spare magazines, buttstocks, and other parts and accessories. I know one thing that JDI has been pushing for is kind of a maintenance kit. Extractor, springs, firing pin, things of that nature. So that'll be good, long term. But these guns are really built to last, frankly. So they don't have any parts known for breakage. So kind of one negative for some of you will be that these were opened up for pre-order back in March. And most models sold out within the first day, sometimes even within the first hour or two that they were released. It's just how it is, guys. Such things sell very quickly. And it was a 50% down deposit. Kind of just how it goes. But at least they will be out there. At least they did make it in before laws potentially changed. And they will be in the country. It's more, hundreds more Swiss guns that are here and that will stay here. These are well-built guns that will last longer than most of us. That was kind of the idea that the Swiss went for when they designed this gun, was kind of a buy once, cry once mentality. Now, in a recent video that Jay did talking about his PE90, some people criticized the magazines. That's honestly utter bunk. They are lightweight, they are polymer, but they actually hold up very well and have been tested pretty extreme. And if you really don't want Swiss mags, well, you can get a STANAG lower, and that'll drop on. Heck, even a US SiG Sauer 556 lower will drop onto a Swiss gun. The parts are interchangeable. One thing to kind of conclude with, the lower, that is not the registered firearm part. That would be the upper. That is the registered serialized part. Although, of course, serials will match upper, lower, bolt carrier. And the barrels on these 5.50s are kind of neat. A lot of them are leftover Hammerly contract barrels, which are well respected and kind of a neat little bonus to get. But this is the real McCoy from the original Swiss factory that's been building guns for their military since the 19th century. Of course, it's gone through name changes and ownership changes, as any factory has. But they're still making high-quality guns. And while, of course, San Imports JDI has made money off these, putting up with all the stress of dealing with a foreign manufacturer and dealing with changing import regs and the ATF, it is also a service to the firearms community, either shooting, collecting, what have you. So, truthfully, we all do owe Dave a debt of gratitude. And again, he made money at it, as he should, because he put a lot of time, energy, and many sleepless nights into making sure things like this happened. But yeah, since this has been a recent talk, I thought might as well just, give you a bit of an update of what's going on with Swiss guns. If you'd like to know more about the history or specs, we've done many videos in the past. Shooting videos, history videos, disassembly videos, what have you. So you can check those out in the playlist. So, if you did order one, we're curious, which one did you pick up? And if you didn't, I understand it can be frustrating, but also, like I said, these will be on the market. So just keep your eyes peeled, because, yeah, people sell guns. Guns get traded around. The fact that they're here means that at least, hey, there's several hundred more that you'll have an opportunity to pick up as the, time goes on, as future goes on. And with that, I believe I will let you go. As always, if you could, like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please check out the link to the Patreon page. This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time. .551 LB. Now with the 553. Open. Right. 553 LB one more time.
happened? Your lens cap was on.
Oh dear. SG-553R. And yes, I know. Have a good weekend, folks.